The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Anytime recently was look at the news, and today did you hear about the accident? 26 teenage girls died in the open sea from Nigeria.
No. Those are the swing counties.
Okay, I heard something. Okay, yeah, 26 teenage girls and okay, so let me pull that article up. Probably should have been more prepared, but like I said, I just ran in, right? And you want to cover for me for a second, Jimmy? Listeners, I hope you're okay with this.
I don't know what to say. You want me to go to a song or something?
No, 26 teenage girls died at sea. Okay. The Italian officials wonder if these girls were killed. So here's what's going on. The gruesome discovery Sunday of bodies of more than 24 migrant girls in the Mediterranean Sea has left Italian officials wondering whether the girls were purposely killed and why all who died were female. Lorena Siccotti, police chief in the southern Italian port city of Salerno, told CNN that officials have launched an investigation into the girls' cause of the death to see if they had been tortured or sexually assaulted. Officials believe the 26 girls, who are all Nigerian and range from 14 to 18 years old, died attempting the dangerous journey from Libya to Europe over the weekend. Libya is the biggest launch pad for African immigrants hoping to build new lives in Europe. Sub-Saharan Africans wishing to flee poverty or war have taken advantage of Libya's power vacuum. Migrants desire to reach Italy, a country in close proximity to Libya, has made the North African country a center for human smuggling. The girls' bodies were found in the Mediterranean by a Spanish vessel which lowered a seemingly endless line of black plastic body bags onto a port in Salerno, according to Agnesi France Press. The bodies were placed in coffins. AFP reported 23 of the girls were discovered near a rubber dinghy that officials believe sank on Friday, according to the AFP. The trip across the Mediterranean is deadly. About 58% of the refugees who have died this year during their cross-border migration have drowned in the Mediterranean. Wow. A top Salerno official, Salvatore Malfi, called the discovery a tragedy and told AFP authorities will need to see whether there are suspects to concentrate on or whether the murder inquiry will proceed against persons unknown. Malfi said the girls may have been thrown off their rubber dinghy into the waters of the Mediterranean. The cause of death appears to be by drowning. Women are more likely to drown because they cannot swim as well as men, or because they sit on the lower levels of vessels carrying them away from life jackets. Women might also try to rescue their children from drowning, putting them at greater risk of death. The Spanish ship managed Sunday to rescue 90 women and 52 minors, including a newborn. The rescue was one of 4 that altogether saved about 400 people over the course of the weekend. So, you didn't hear anything about this, Jimmy?
No, it hasn't been on Fox or One America News.
Oh. If it's not on Fox, you don't see it?
Well, One America News, yeah. Like I said, but Fox, they get on that Texas thing, they stay on it 24 hours. I go to One America News, at least they keep going to different headlines.
Okay. What do you mean that Texas thing?
The shooting in Texas.
Oh, I'm like, what do you mean that Texas thing? I was wondering if something else happened. Excuse me. So, have you guys been talking about that?
The Texas thing?
Yeah, the Texas shooting.
It happened after last Thursday, so no, we never talked about it last show.
Okay, so since it happened,
We'll
right?
probably talk about it this week.
Well, what I'm saying is, since that happened, you realize that they found out that the gunman escaped from a mental health facility in 2012.
Right.
The man who killed more than 20 people at a small Texas church escaped from a mental health facility 5 years ago after sneaking guns onto an Air Force base and making threats against commanders. Devin Patrick Kelly. Devin Patrick Kelly's June 2012 escape from Peak Behavioral Health Systems in New Mexico occurred months after he was accused of abusing his ex-wife and her child. According to an El Paso Police Department report obtained by CNN affiliate Kivia on Tuesday, Kelly was picked up after the Santa Teresa, New Mexico facility listed him as missing. The document said officers had been warned that Kelly was a danger to himself and others, and that he had sneaked firearms onto Holloman Air Force Base, where he had reportedly threatened his commanders. Kelly had been placed into pre-trial confinement as a civilian facility days before his escape. Investigators try to piece together a picture of Kelly, more clues have emerged in the deadliest shooting in modern Texas history. Authorities placed the death toll at 26, including an unborn child. You realize how 26 girls died at sea, 26 die in this shooting. It's just an odd coincidence. The dead parishioners from the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs ranged from an age from 17 months to 77 years old. Kelly had previously attended the Texas church, but he was not welcome there. Wilson County Sheriff Joe Tickett told CNN on Tuesday. Pastor Frank Pomeroy of First Baptist Church knew Kelly from his attendance at church events, according to Tackett. The pastor wanted him out. There were no threats, but Pomeroy told authorities Kelly was not a good person to be around. He did not think that he was a good person and did not want him around his church, Tackett said of the pastor. But he said, "How do I run him away from my church?" On Sunday, Kelly reappeared at the church. This time he was armed with an assault rifle, 15 loaded magazines, and an obsession with a family dispute. Kelly, who had a record of violence, was consumed by a dispute with his mother-in-law and spent time posting anti-God and pro-gun statements on Facebook in the months before the shooting, according to officials, as well as acquaintances and former classmates. He sent threatening text messages to his mother-in-law and texted her as recently as Sunday morning, not long before he sprayed bullets at the people in the church with an assault rifle. He may have thought she was at church on Sunday. There are many ways that he could have taken care of the mother-in-law without coming with 15 loaded magazines and an assault rifle to a church, said Freeman Martin of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Latest developments. The FBI has the shooter's cell phone but has not yet accessed its contents due to encryption, a growing challenge for law enforcement. I thought they were through that. Isn't that something we discussed like over a year ago, Jimmy?
What's that?
The FBI being able to access people's phones when they're arrested.
Yeah, something about Apple didn't want to give them access.
Because if you can access one, you can access all.
Right.
Okay. Christopher Coombs, FBI special agent in charge, told that Tuesday at a news conference, today at a news conference, that they had the shooter's cell phone, but they could not access the content due to encryption. As of Tuesday, which is today, 10 of the wounded remained in critical condition, Martin said. In an October 29 Facebook post, Kelly posted a photo of the Ruger AR-556 rifle, the same type used in the shooting, on a white couch. Former classmates and members of the community told CNN. The caption read, "She's a bad bitch." It's not clear if it was the same weapon he used on Sunday. Excuse me. The Crime Victims Compensation Fund will provide $6,500 to families of the victims for funeral expenses, officials said. A funeral company has donated caskets. The U.S. Air Force acknowledged it did not relay information about Kelly's court-martial conviction for domestic assault to civilian law enforcement, something that could have prevented him from purchasing the firearms used in the shooting. Seriously? The Air Force and Department of Defense are investigating how records of his domestic violence conviction were handled. Kelly, 26, had 3 gunshot wounds. He was shot in the leg and torso by an armed citizen and had a self-inflicted shot to the head, authorities said. It wasn't clear which gunshot killed Kelly, but evidence at the scene indicates the subject may have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Martin said. He was found dead in his vehicle. Wow. So, quick question here, Jimmy. Right? Guy is in the military. He's discharged. Charges are brought against him for domestic violence charges. He obviously hates his ex-wife's mother. He's awaiting trial, and because the military doesn't share the information with local law enforcement, he's not put on lists so he can buy weapons freely. And this is, by the way, a man who was in a psychiatric institution just a couple years ago. How does that happen? Jimmy?
How does it happen? I don't know.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Well, it happens because people don't think that... Remember the whole debate about if someone has psychiatric issues, whether or not they should be allowed to have the ability to purchase a gun, the right to bear arms? People were like, it's unconstitutional to... What were you going to say, Jimmy? Sorry, go on.
Nothing.
People were like, oh, it's unconstitutional, but here's the thing, right? I remember having this discussion with Mike Allen a few years ago. We were on air, and he was like, it's unconstitutional, you cannot do that, yada, yada, yada. And my argument was, if there is proper... I'm not saying deny anybody their right to bear arms, right? But if you can deny a criminal because of their intent or action, then someone with a mental instability background should have a battery of tests to be used before they are issued such a firearm. Just because... And he was like, well, no, that opens a slippery slope and everybody has their medical records, and then they start to chip people. And you know Mike, he goes off on a tangent, right? But this is what I'm talking about. The fact is that there are things in place. All they need to do is have a proper test. Something that, you know, okay, you've been in an institution, then you need to be certified by 2 or 3 or 2 doctors that you're capable and you're healthy and yada, yada, yada. Everybody should have a mental stability like, test. And he's like, oh, well, they'll just go and buy guns from the street. I very much doubt it'll be as easy to go buy an assault rifle in the street as it would be from a gun shop. What do you think, Jimmy?
Easier.
Really?
Absolutely.
So you're saying no matter what?
If somebody wants a firearm, they're going to get a firearm, legal or illegal. That's just the way it is.
That's true. You know why? But I mean, you should make it harder. It should be harder. It is something with deadly force. It's harder to get a car than it is to get a gun. Think about it.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it's not, because they don't do a background check on you to see if you're eligible to get a car or not. That's not true.
Okay. What I'm saying is that when I said it was harder to get a car than to get a gun, what I meant was that you can go to an estate sale or a gun show and you can purchase a weapon easily without background checks and stuff.
You're supposed to.
They advertise them in the newspaper. They're listed on estatesales.net. The police do nothing about it. How is it illegal when police officers go and pick up hunting gear and rifles and guns freely at...
Right, it's supposed to be uninfringed, and you want to put infringements on it.
What do you mean? You just said you're not supposed to be able to purchase a gun randomly at a yard sale.
Right, it's the freedom of fucking the right to bear arms. If you're eligible, you get it.
But how do you know somebody's eligible?
You don't.
So, you're telling me that if I wanted to go to a yard sale right now and pick up 3 rifles, nobody has the right to tell me no?
Not if you're going to buy them, no.
But that's what I'm talking about, Jimmy. You're right, it's easy to get a gun. But I'm saying, that's what I was saying. It's easier to get a gun than it is to get a car. You have to get a driver's license. Because you could literally just walk into any gun show or yard sale and buy a gun. And that's crazy.
You gotta get a carry permit. That's schooling. Alright, in order to carry a gun. So, I mean, they do send it to the ringer.
I was talking about how you said it was easier to get an assault rifle on the street. I was agreeing with you that it's very easy to get different guns because I don't have a license to carry a gun. I don't have anything to carry a gun, right? Don't know how to use one properly, okay? I haven't shot a gun.
That's what they should be training in school, especially around high school time, how to use a handgun and stuff. So people will be trained on them rather than these morons that are just shooting at anything.
Yeah, if you teach somebody about it, they have more of an education about it. They're not gonna misuse them, abuse them.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna
be educated on them.
But I was agreeing with you that it's so easy to get a gun because, like here, literally, you can walk into a yard sale and buy guns, working guns with the bullets and everything.
Right, and the government's not hooked up to your house so you can do a background check, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, they shouldn't be. Like I said, you're trying to put an infringement on it.
Mm-hmm. I am.
You're going against the Constitution because it's supposed to be uninfringed. Yes, it is.
So you're telling me if a 6-year-old wants a gun, they should have a gun?
Yep. And that's when they should be teaching kids about guns.
And if a criminal wants a gun, they should have a gun.
Well, they're saying, no, you can't, but that's an infringement, too.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Are you saying if you got one infringement, let's get more?
No, what I'm saying is that common sense infringement makes sense. I don't think that it should be, excuse me, as easy for someone to walk in and buy a weapon to kill people as it is to go in and buy a pack of gum.
That's just the way it is. It's called entrepreneurship.
Well, I think it's bullshit. Like I said, I have my opinion. I don't think it should be as easy. I think there should be more
Right, you don't
tests.
think we should have guns and we shouldn't be allowed to protect ourselves from the government. How the hell are they going to take away
Excuse
assault
me?
rifles? What do you want us to
Excuse me?
fight the government
You
with?
better stop
Pea
right there.
shooters?
Because you're telling me what I think and I don't think again. I take one thing and you run with it. You just go off the deep end without listening to a word that I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
what you're
saying-
saying. You
no,
want to
no,
put
you're not listening
infringements
to what
on
I'm
it.
saying.
You want to say if there's already an infringement on it because you
Oh
can't
my
be a felon.
God, are you freaking kidding me? Don't you dare tell me what I am saying. I have a brain, I have a mouth, I know what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is specifically this, that there should be tests in place to make sure that anybody who has access to a gun, who is purchasing a gun, is within the right mindset, mind frame, and the ability. They have to take
Now you got
lessons
to
on
take
how
a
to
mental
shoot.
test.
They have to take lessons on how to shoot a gun, how to care for a gun. Basically learn and know about a gun instead of just walking and buying one. They need to, yes, if they have been in a mental institution or if they have been known to be a threat to society, then yes, they should not have access to a gun or easy
Because now
purchase of
you're
a gun.
leaving it up to people to say whether he's
Oh my God.
violent or not.
I think your actions speak about your past. So if you have been in an armed robbery and you're not allowed to carry a gun because of that, I think that's just common sense. I mean, I can't make it even clearer
they're
than
the ones
that.
that are going to get the handguns, and they'll always get the handguns because they'll always be illegal handguns.
So your thing is to just down me, say what I'm saying that is not what I'm saying, and now to turn around and say, well, okay, whatever. You might have a good point. You're not even going to admit that it's a good point. You're just going to say, whatever, they're going to buy a gun anyway. See, that's just kind of crap, Jimmy. Rethink that.
No, like I said, if you want to kill somebody, you're going to be able to do it. Whether you
And
get
I
a gun or
agree.
you don't get a gun, you'll find another way if you want to kill somebody.
I agree that if people want to kill somebody, they're going to find a way to kill somebody. But you know what? It is easier to shoot somebody from a distance than it is to take a knife and slit their throat and see them in the eyes. I'm saying we shouldn't make it easy. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's easier in the heat of a moment if you are passionate and angry to grab a gun and wave it around and do some damage than it is to do damage with your fists. Because after that moment of passion and anger clears, more times than not, people regret what they've done.
You think? That's why they call losing it.
Yes, that's my point. So, yeah, if someone is with the intent of killing somebody, yes, they're going to go and buy a gun. They're going to go and they're going to take a car. They're going to grab a hatchet, whatever they could do. But the fact is that the majority of people who are doing these shootings, and so think about this, right? Gang members and their guns. Yes, they're going to get guns. But what about the regular kid who's just playing around? His dad has a gun at home and he gets mad at somebody and he goes and grabs the gun and decides to, go off on somebody. Or these shootings that occur, it's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you should be wondering why he's going off on somebody. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You just said, but that's just doctors and people telling you how they're thinking and feeling. Yes, you need to wonder why they're going off on people.
No, you see what I was saying about the doctors, they shouldn't be in charge as to who can get a gun and who can't.
I'm not
putting them
saying
in
they
charge
should be
of
in
the
charge.
Constitution.
Excuse me. I never said they should be in charge.
Well, who else is going to certify them?
People should be evaluated, and if there's a question, that's why it should be a check and balance system, not one person with a be-all and end-all. Let's say you have two doctors. Excuse me. Let's say you want to get a gun, right, Jimmy? You go to one doctor, psychiatrist, whatever, and he says, I don't know, you're kind of borderline. So you have a secondary one that you go to, and he's like, yeah, I think it's okay. Or I don't think you should either. Both of this is how it works, like with other things, right? They go in front of a tribunal, or there's a committee that oversees the different, like, paperwork, the checks and balances, and it's a percentage rating. Should you or shouldn't you? I mean, it's not like one person, but if multiple people who are trained in behavioral psychology, psychiatry, law enforcement, whatever, if they all go through your paperwork, like 3 or 4 different professions, I can't think of them off the top of my head, right? But you get what I'm saying. Go through the paperwork, and they say, there's a red flag here, there's a red flag here, and the counterbalance is there, then yes. I'm not saying a doctor can be maliciously saying, no gun, because I don't believe in guns, no gun. No. I am putting forward a reasonable method of ensuring safety while not violating rights.
The doctor's going to say that they're crazy and won't give a gun for the mere fact that they don't want to be liable for when he does go out and shoot somebody. You know what I mean? It's because he let him.
No, because the doctor is not letting him. Like I said, if there is
right, that's why they wouldn't let him. They would always take the gun away.
Listen, I'm saying the doctor is not letting him or not letting him. The doctor is not letting him or not letting him. There is a test in place done by a board of certified people who put together questionnaires, whatever, and there's checks and balances.
So it doesn't sound like it's constitutional to me if they're coming up with tests. It's supposed to be uninfringed.
Are you seriously hiding behind?
It's supposed to be uninfringed, and you keep putting infringements on it, and we'll never pass the muster at the Supreme Court.
Last time I checked, if you are a criminal with an armed history, you're not allowed to have a gun.
That's right.
You said that's
armed
an infringement.
History. What?
You said that's an infringement.
Right, and because there's one, you think we should have more.
Yes, I think we should have reasonable common sense
ones.
Yes.
Yeah, no, see, there is no such thing as reasonable, and there is no such thing as common sense gun laws. All right? It's just to make it harder for illegal people to get them. That's all you want to do. That's all, and that's infringement. It won't pass.
Okay, again, whether it passes or not, I don't care. I am putting forward that, in my opinion, I think that there need to be stricter rules governing the purchases of weapons. That's my opinion. Just because you scream or belittle or shout out Constitution and words like infringement and start getting all passionate about it does not change my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion.
Your opinion is we shouldn't have guns to begin with.
Again, this is you telling me what I think, and that is just not true. I believe in the right to bear arms.
What we should have? Pea shooters?
I don't want my psycho
guns
neighbor
that
to have
kill people?
I don't want my psycho neighbor to have a gun to kill me with. No, an armed assault rifle, no. But a gun to protect their home with, yeah, that's fine. If you have military training, then you have military weaponry. But without proper training, I don't think that people should have that type of weaponry. And again, telling me, you just stated again emphatically that I don't think people should be allowed to have guns. Jimmy, you really need to stop doing that.
That's your opinion.
No, it's your opinion, you idiot. I have never said that. You keep saying that that's my opinion. Stop telling me what my opinion is, because it's not true.
People got the right to defend themselves, Val.
Exactly, like I have the right to defend myself against your idiocy right now, because you keep saying that I'm saying things I'm not saying, so stop it.
Well, what's idiocy is leaving it to a doctor to determine whether somebody gets a gun or not.
What's idiocy is to try to have a rational conversation with Jimmy. That is idiocy. I must be really stupid. I'm trying to have a rational conversation.
We're past we need a break.
We keep going in circles anyway. I wasn't trying to have a conversation with you, Jimmy. I was trying to state an opinion. When I actually want to have a conversation with you, you have nothing to do with it. But when you want to vent and abuse, then you have something to say. Let's go take a break.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Do you know how fast you were going, son?
Call me Ed.
Do you know how fast you were going, Ed?
You mean exactly?
Yes, exactly.
No, not exactly. How fast?
Fast.
Faster?
You were going very fast.
Fast is my job, officer.
Fast is your job?
Yes, sir.
What kind of job?
I deliver, sir.
What do you deliver?
The world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
I thought Jimmy John's had the world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
Jimmy John's does have the world's greatest gourmet sandwiches.
So you deliver for Jimmy John's?
I deliver for Jimmy John's.
So do you always deliver fast?
I always deliver fast.
How fast?
I deliver something so fast you freak.
It's not smart to freak a cop, son.
You didn't order Jimmy John's sub, sir.
So if I did order a Jimmy John's sub, when would I get it?
Now.
What if I don't want it now?
Then call later.
Or I could pick it up myself.
Or you can pick it up yourself.
Because I'm pretty fast, too.
I'm sure you are, sir.
Very fast.
I believe you, sir.
Faster than you.
No way, sir.
Way faster.
In your dreams.
You dissing me, son?
No, sir, I'm polite.
Fast and polite?
Very polite and very, very fast.
Is that a challenge, son?
No, sir, it's a fact.
Let's burn rubber, kid.
It wouldn't be fair.
Why not?
You've got a fully blown V8 Camaro with slicks and headers.
So?
I've got a 10-speed bike.
I'll let you off with a warning.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
Hi, my name is Amrita Rupnarayan, aka Valainistima. Amrita means ambrosia or nectar of the gods. Valainistima means keeper of divine knowledge. Join me every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern for a night talk with Joe Rocks, exclusively on TuneIn Satellite on Armed Radio Global Network, where we will discuss food, culinary art, baking, cooking, food preparation and presentation, bringing you a little bit of the divine knowledge so you can create your own nectar of the gods.
Plan your visit to Savino Vineyards in Woodbridge, Connecticut today. It's a family-owned and operated vineyard that grows premium grapes on 8 acres of land and produces a fine selection of wine on-site in a historic barn. Savino Vineyards is a bronze medal winner in the Amenti del Vino International Wine Competition, and wine tastings are only $7. Visit SavinoVineyards.com to find out more, and follow Savino Vineyards on Facebook. That's SAVINO Vineyards. Or call 203-389-2050 for more information.
In my mouth. Hi and welcome back to Talk Time with Val. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Valainistima, and I just popped a caramel chocolate in my mouth when Jimmy said, "Coming in." Thanks, Jimmy. Okay. Do you know what amygdalin is? We're gonna squash the whole gun talk. Do you know what amygdalin is?
Oh, what?
Amygdalin.
No, I don't. How do you spell it?
Amygdalin.
No, what is it?
It is a naturally occurring chemical compound. It is classified as a cyanogenic glycoside. Excuse me. People identify it as being, I think, vitamin B17. Anyway, it's a cyanogenic glycoside because each amygdalin molecule includes a nitrile group, and it can be released as a toxic cyanide ion by the action of a beta-glucoside. Okay? So, you know how they say you shouldn't eat the apple seeds or the pits of peaches or stone fruit and stuff like that. It's because they are cyanogenic glycosides. They have cyanide in them, right? And like prunes and stuff, all those pit fruits, bits of almonds, peaches, stone fruit kernels, plums, apples, they all have in them, like a peach pit has 6%. Okay, an apricot is 8%. So what you're looking at is there have been people touting that vitamin B17 is a cure for cancer. That cancer is not real. Cancer is something that happens because we are depriving ourselves of vitamin B17, and that they've known it for quite a long time, and the pharmaceutical companies and doctors and everybody else are in on one giant conspiracy. And if you want to cure any cancer you have, you should just eat the pits of stone fruit and, you know, almonds and stuff like that. What do you think about that, Jimmy?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So you can actually order this stuff. Laetrile. It's promoted as an alternative cancer treatment, but there's absolutely no evidence that it works, right? In fact, with people who have mutated cells and stuff, there's more evidence that it could do more harm than good, because your body's already combating and fighting and struggling, and now you're adding things to the mix that can kill you. Which, you know, it's funny because they say, well, chemotherapy can kill you. Why are you doing it? Because it has a chance of saving you, and that's what the science shows. Amygdalin, on the other hand, Laetrile, has no proof, no evidence that it works. Okay? It has been going around the internet that vitamin B17 is the remedy for cancer. And it's been akin to people saying, oh, it's like, oh my god, what do you call it? Scurvy. You know, when sailors would be out on the ocean and they'd be out for long drives and they would have no vitamin C, no oranges, lemons, limes, etc., and they would develop scurvy, right? What they're saying is that, okay, well, listen to this. You would recall that in the past, quite a large number of seamen lost their life to a disease named scurvy, a disease that took the life of numerous people as well. And a number of people got an enormous income from it. Afterwards, it was discovered that scurvy was just a deficiency of vitamin C. That means it wasn't a disease or an illness. Cancer is also just like that. The colonizing world and the enemies of humanity established the cancer industry and made it into a business from which they earn billions in income. This is bullshit, by the way. The prevention and cure of cancer will be obtained simply through the following strategies. Those who have cancer should first try to know what cancer is. Do not panic. You should investigate the condition. Yes, it's mutated cells. Nowadays, does anyone die of an illness called scurvy? No, because it gets cured. Since cancer is only a deficiency of vitamin B17, eating 15 to 20 pieces of apricot stones, basically eating the pit of 15 or 20 apricots every day, is enough to prevent cancer, is what they're saying. Because you get enough amygdalin. Okay. B17 is made up by a man named Ernst Krebs Jr., inventor of a partially synthetic chemical called Laetrile. that was at one point rebranded as a vitamin in an effort to get around FDA new drug regulations. No official pharmacopoeia lists it as a vitamin, and it does not possess any of the required characteristics of a vitamin. In a hearing about a 1976 injunction demanding that a company cease selling supplements with this compound, a federal court described the vitamin defense as a patently absurd and transparent attempt to avoid the drug labeling provisions of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Amygdalin is a naturally occurring compound that can be found in a variety of foods, most notably bitter almonds and the pits of apricots and other fruits. Claims that it is a potential cancer therapy can be credited to the father and son team of Ernst Krebs Sr., a doctor and pharmacist with a long history of promoting fringe folk remedies, and Ernst Krebs Jr., who is not a doctor nor even the recipient of any degree in science, save an honorary doctorate from a now-defunct university. Their work is described in a 1981 review on the topic. In the 1920s, working in a home laboratory to find a method for improving the taste of bootleg whiskey, an obscure San Francisco general practitioner, Dr. Ernst Krebs Sr., suggested that an extract of apricot seeds reduced rodent tumors. Dr. Krebs warned that the material, which in 1936 appeared to be predominantly the common chemical amygdalin, was too unpredictable and too dangerous for general human use. Its proportion did not really begin until over 20 years later, when his son, Ernst Krebs Jr., claimed to have synthesized a safe cogener of amygdalin, for which he coined the term Lytril. In spite of the younger Mr. Krebs' claims, most of what has since been sold as Lytril has consisted of a variety of components, and the active portion has usually been amygdalin itself. One of the telltale warning signs of a pseudoscientific remedy is that the explanation for how it works, or even what it does, and in this case, even what it is, changes every time someone points out that a previous explanation was demonstrably unworkable without acknowledgement of the previous lack of veracity. I agree. There have been at least 4 explanations for why Lytril might work. As summarized by the National Institutes of Health Physician Data Query Report, most invoke the fact that Lytril is toxic to cancer cells, which is most certainly related to the fact that it metabolizes into cyanide, but not other cells. Jimmy, last time I heard if you take a cyanide pill, you die. What about you?
That's true.
So, of course, you die because why? It kills your cells, right? So if it kills all cells, then it's going to kill cancer cells too?
That's probably part of it.
So if you're ingesting it,
at your own risk.
Exactly. Thank you. Now, that's one explanation for why it might work. Okay? What it's saying here, the first rationale for Lytril use is the suggestion that malignant cells have higher than normal levels of an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase.
Are you talking about Laetrile?
Laetrile. Well, no, it's Laetrile, yeah.
Laetrile.
Well, I say trial, but okay.
Okay, because that's, now I know what it is, Laetrile. It's a cancer cure or whatever.
It's not.
Well, it's not legal in the U.S.
It shouldn't be legal anywhere.
A lot of people will go to Mexico to get it.
I know. But it shouldn't be legal anywhere. The first rationale for how do you say it? Laetrile? I could say trial. Okay. Laetrile. Laetrile, people. That's how it's spelled. Use is the suggestion that malignant cells have higher than normal levels of an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase, and that they are deficient in other enzymes called proteinases. It has been proposed that cancer cells are more susceptible to the toxic effects of laetrile than normal cells because of an imbalance in these two enzymes. The second theory states that cancer cells contain more I'm going to bite my tongue saying these words, glucosidase, which is different than beta-glucuronidase mentioned above. But because cancer cells contain more of that activity than normal cells, and in the first theory, that they are deficient in rhodinase. So basically, in the first theory, it says, oh, well, they have so much of this one, so much of A and so much of B, it actually will work better because of the imbalance of these two enzymes. Now it's saying, well, they lack one enzyme and they have a different version of the first enzyme, so it'll work better because of that. The third theory states that cancer is the result of a metabolic disorder caused by a vitamin deficiency. It states further that laetrile, or amygdalin, vitamin B17, is the missing vitamin needed by the body to restore health. Excuse me. There is no evidence that laetrile is needed for normal metabolism, or that it can function as a vitamin in animals or in humans. The fourth theory suggests that the cyanide released by laetrile has a toxic effect beyond its interference with oxygen utilization by cells. According to this theory, cyanide increases the acid content of tumors and leads to the destruction of lysosomes, compartments inside cells that contain enzymes capable of breaking down other cellular molecules. The injured lysosomes release their contents, thereby killing the cancer cells and arresting tumor growth. The thing is, tumors are not the only form of cancer, but okay. In fact, the rationale for laetrile efficacy, is not the only thing that has shifted over the course of its promotion. What conditions or health problems it is meant to ameliorate have also jumped around. They can't even decide if it's, okay, so over the years, proponents have claimed that laetrile is a cure for cancer, that it is a palliative, that it prevents cancer, that it is a painkiller, or that it facilitates other cancer treatments. There have even been claims that laetrile rises the red count in blood, is of value in treating sickle cell anemia, can be used to treat parasitic diseases, helps regulate intestinal flora, causes a lowering of blood pressure in cancer victims, and provides relief from arthritis. So this is a miracle drug that's been around for how many years now? Since the 1920s. And yet every scientist, chemist, whatever, they're all saying, no, it's too dangerous, we're not going to try it, even though it's a miracle and can do all this stuff. Nobody's seeing any red flags here? The way I see it, if some old Chinese, Indian, bush medicine person didn't tell you, oh yes, that's what we've been using to cure things, because I figure that's where most of the pharmacies get their ideas from. What do you think, Jimmy? You think I'm onto something?
Yeah, you might be.
I think they go to the Congo, to the rainforest, to ancient herbal stores and stuff. They find out what people have been using for years, especially in the longest living people, to keep them healthy and treat stuff, and then they develop chemical substitutes for it and sell it to the general public as medication. Look at witch hazel. It was used to treat inflammation, fevers, pain for how long? Hundreds and thousands of years, really. It's been mentioned in the Vedas in India. It's been used in China. It's been used.
Witch hazel, isn't that alcohol?
Aspirin.
What is it?
Aspirin.
Acetaminophen?
Aspirin.
Alright.
No, you know what aspirin is, right?
Yeah, but what's the chemical of it?
Oh. Excuse me. The willow tree, sorry. I'm saying witch hazel. The willow tree has been used for centuries for remedies for headaches, hangovers, minor pains, and stuff. And Native Americans used it in the same way that we do too. They made tea. And what did the doctors do? What did the chemists do? Acetylsalicylic I can't say it. Acetylsalicylic acid, or named aspirin by Bayer, right? But that's what it is. Acetylsalicylic acid. You happy, Jimmy? You made me bite my tongue. That's the chemical that is naturally produced in the willow tree. That's the chemical that is synthesized to create aspirin and then sold to people for thinning the blood to prevent heart disease and curing a hangover or a headache or pain or fever. That's what they give people. You know what? That old adage, take 2 aspirin, call me in the morning, it used to be have a cup of willow bark tea and call me in the morning. The thing is, I really think that they do that. They find old medicine people from around the world, and then they create a drug from it, and then they charge you a lot of money. Because here's the thing, right? Do you want to know how easy it is to make your homemade aspirin, Jimmy? Excuse me. It's a crude form of aspirin from the bark of the willow tree. And you can go to any weeping willow tree, which you see all over the place, or a black willow, or a golden willow, or any type of willow tree, really. And you can get some leaves and twigs and dry them, right? You just hang them by your windowsill and let them dry. And then you put them in a jar and you brew tea. And what do? You have aspirin in a cup that's not going to scar or hurt your stomach or react badly with you because it's natural. And the extracts are actually great. From the tea, like that one is dried, it's not like, you know, the concentration, the level of concentration. You can have a cup of tea every 2 hours and you're good. You get what I'm saying, Jimmy? Not gonna hurt you, and it helps you hydrate. You know how easy it is to make it? Now you do. You're ignoring me, aren't you? Alright. I'm looking at the time and it looks like we are out of time tonight. Salicylic acid. Salicylic. Is that how you say it? Anyway, all willow trees contain that same acid in the bark. So you can use any type of willow tree. And to make the aspirin, you just dry some strips and lay them over a rock or dry place or sun for several hours. If you need it right away, you can start a fire and just boil the bark in the water. And you're good to go. Anyway, we need to wrap it up. Jimmy's now telling me that, and I've been trying to tell him that for the last minute, but okay. So, thank you for listening to me ramble on, and do join us again next week for another episode of Talk Time with Val. Until then, be safe, be well, and blessed be. Jimmy, thank you.
I'll see you.
Bye.